boys. This is episode 8.
Episode 8, man. And I guess we can say what? Another setup?
Yeah.
Another setup.
Another setup. We're trying to get more things more permanently established. I mean, shit, if you go back and watch the videos, you slowly progressed.
Yeah, you definitely can see where we started from. Topics, just the smoothness and the flow. I think this one will be one of our better episodes. I think we're just getting better with everyone, So I guess a lot happened. We always say a lot happened since last time we talked. I guess we could start. We have a esteemed guest. We'll get to him in a little bit. Let's go over some of these topics of the week, and then we'll introduce our guest who's here. So let's talk about the Super Bowls next week. We have some unexpected people that won Cincinnati versus L.A., and it's in L.A., I believe, this year, right? Or is it in Vegas?
I think Rams hosting it.
Rams is hosting it. That's going to be crazy, though.
It is going to be nice.
What y'all think about, because, I hear L.A. is, it's always been kind of wild with, different things that's going on. But, I feel like I hear, more robberies and more stick-ups and different things like that going on in LA. So I feel like come Super Bowl time, it might get real weird.
It might get rowdy.
It might get real shaky. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, it might be crazy.
And I don't know. I've been to Super Bowl the last 2 years. I went to, my buddy was in the Super Bowl, Kansas City, 2 years ago. Damian Wilson, shout out to them. They won that year. And then last year, another one of my buddies, they won too.
You had a couple homies.
Antoine right? Winfield Jr., and Tyler Johnson. They won with TB12.
Nice.
Won his last Super Bowl before he retired. What y'all think about that? Tom Brady retiring.
Insane. I think it's his time.
It's his time.
Yeah, I mean, bro's amazing, but
it's always better when you can go out while you're on top.
Yeah, that's true. Because he's been 22 years. That means he's been playing since I was.
He's been playing since we were all kids.
4, bro.
Yeah.
5.
I don't know. I just always think same with Mayweather. You might as well quit while you're ahead because if you have that one loss.
Does it taint your whole career?
Definitely. What?
I think the downfall is the saddest part to watch. When people keep playing.
Yeah. And they hit that plateau and then it starts to decline.
Get worse and worse.
That's one thing I will say. At least we got to see Tom Brady where he didn't decline. It wasn't just trash Tom Brady. Even people thought it was going to be, and he still ended up winning the Super Bowl that year. So that's definitely dope. I mean, a GOAT. Definitely a GOAT.
One thing I've always heard is that people, they only going to remember the way you started and the way you finish. Of course, the numbers are going to speak for themselves, statistics and all that, but at the end of the day, they're going to remember how you ended your career. So if you end on top, he should have just retired after he won the last
Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, right away.
But it's if you win the Super Bowl, you just had the best team, technically, of that year. So it's
doesn't matter.
Why not try again?
But you still won.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
And can't nobody take that away from you. If you win while you're in the eyes of, I don't know, heading out on an upbeat is good.
Yeah.
I for sure thought he would retire off a win.
Off the Super Bowl?
Yeah, that's what I figured.
I don't know. I feel like Tom Brady being who he is after that Super Bowl, it was cool, but it's they already counted me out. What if I got another one?
Right.
What if I got 8? What can they say to me after that? Even though they really can't say nothing after 6, 7, 4, 3, 2.
Right.
Really?
2.
Let's jump straight to talking about the police killing.
Oh, yeah,
There's 2 major shootings, deaths in Minneapolis in the past 2 days.
It's 2 days, yep.
One was a Richfield student. 2 students. They got shot. One died, one's living, to my knowledge. And then the other one was a warrant serve.
A warrant search that they came in.
Gone bad.
Yep, warrant search gone bad. Essentially, they came in, was looking for somebody. That person wasn't the person they were looking for. They barge in. He grabs for his gun, who's coming in my crib. Boom, they off him. But it's not the person they originally
But how do they keep making mistakes like that? That's insane, bro.
That shit's crazy.
How do you kill the wrong person? I feel like if we're going out and we're saying we're police, we're going out and saying we're looking for this person. The picture's been blasted up. I know what they look like. I'm not just going to shoot somebody unless I feel in danger, but I don't know.
Well, the discrepancy comes when they said the neighbors are claiming that they didn't hear anything as far as the announcing themselves. And what's crazy is this actually happened in my old apartment building. I used to live there. It's called Bolero Flats.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an older building. So it's not like it's just concrete throughout and soundproof. Like if somebody's yelling in the hallway or whatever, like you're probably gonna hear it.
Mm-hmm.
So for the neighbors to say they didn't hear the police, you know,
say like, "Hey, open
boom,
up."
boom, 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 FBI, SWAT team. Then it's like,
Yeah, because it was FBI and SWAT, right?
I don't know. I don't know enough about the actual story, but it just sounded weird. And we don't need no more of them rioting.
Yeah.
We don't need no more people fearing the police in Minneapolis. Like we've had enough of it in the past 2 years.
The past 2 years, like to the point where it's like, we say we don't need or we might not trust them, but at the end of the day, we do need some authority, some ground, some people to. Because who else are you gonna call? What are you gonna call the street? Like how we do back in the old days, called like local gangs to help us? No, it's not the same. It's not the same demographics, not the same street rules like it was before. Because originally that's what gangs was for. Gangs were there because the police didn't come in time to protect the people in the hoods to do it. So they were there to say, hey, this is the rules about how we do it. This is how we don't do it. Now it's like the gang culture, I feel like it's so up in the air. There's so many young people, so many cliques killing random people for no reason. It's like you can't trust the gangs. You can't trust the police. So who do we call? What do we rely on? We all just get guns, essentially?
Well, if you have a gun, then they're gonna shoot you.
Then they're going to shoot you. Because if you go get your gun when you feel endangered, then you get,
That sure as hell is the trend, too. Everybody getting guns.
Everybody getting guns now. It's like, yeah, I need to protect myself because I don't feel protected. But it's like, one, a lot of people that are getting guns probably shouldn't have guns. But, I mean, we can't say that you shouldn't have a gun unless you're, like, under some mental whatever. Two, a lot of these people don't even know how to use guns, for real.
For real.
They get a gun, don't even go to the range.
I know multiple people that don't go to the range.
And don't even know how to use the gun.
it.
They just
Yeah,
have it
they
there
got
just
it.
because whatever. But it's like, if I'm going to get a gun, I'm going to go to the range, know how to use my stuff. So if that time happens,
I don't know.
you know what I'm saying? But
These articles just not making sense because they said that only one officer was the one who shot him. They said, according to the report, police informed a dispatcher around 6:19 a.m. that they'd be going to Department 701 and that AR-1 about to execute this risk, no noise expected, suggesting that they were carrying out a no-knock warrant. But it still wasn't the guy they was looking for. So in that situation, like, who's really wrong?
Because like you went in expecting to see that person, and that person was like
Wasn't up
sleeping.
there. But that guy, he wasn't even there. But the guy who you did run into had a gun and was not expecting you to come, so he just got to shoot or whatever, up the gun on you. It doesn't say they even shot at the police. I don't know. This is just a weird story, and I think transparency is important, especially in Minneapolis right now, between the police and the people. You know, they're redacting certain information that is going to cause people to be up in arms. You know
Up in arms, right? And people to lead to their own stories. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you said, if there's no transparency, then we get all these media outlets.
Yep.
Next thing you know, it's police are against black people against police. But what if it's not the case? But at this point, from what we're seeing, it looks like another accidental police killing, which doesn't make it's getting.
Yeah, I don't think it was purposeful.
Yeah,
But we're hearing too many different stories, and that shouldn't be. If you know, the police department needs to be accountable for reporting the correct story the first time immediately when something tragic happens. According to police account, officers entered the secured building just before 7 a.m. and went directly to the target apartment, which they entered using a key fob. They loudly and repeatedly announced search warrant police before they crossed the threshold in the apartment, and ongoing as they made entry. Just over 9 seconds after they made entry, they encountered a man who was armed with a handgun. He was holding the gun in his hand, and at that time, shots were fired.
Man, I feel like it's hard to be on either side at this point.
I don't know. It's just, like I said, it's important for them to give us the correct story.
Yeah, because if it was a wrong killing, of course it's wrong. But if it's accidental, it's like it's still wrong. But it's like who is there to blame?
I don't know, man. It's just been a weird week, bro. It has been a really weird week. Like,
yeah,
2 kids randomly getting shot. They got shot while it was lunchtime, bro, outside of the school at Richfield. Like,
That's crazy.
I don't know.
Yeah, RIP to those families, man. And anybody going through some mourning that's lost someone, because we know it's tough. It's not easy when you lose somebody that's a big pillar in your life, especially a child.
Yeah, kids.
Anybody losing their child, I mean, in the African culture, you're not supposed to, not even, but they always say it, like, we shouldn't be burying our children, you know what I'm saying? Like, not that Americans don't say that, but that's just a big thing that they preach in terms of, like, do the right thing so we're not the ones burying, you know what I'm saying? So anybody that's gone through that, I feel for you. I'm sorry. anything we can do, prayers up, for real.
Brian, let's talk a little bit about what you've been up to, man.
Yeah, on a lighter note, we got our guest with us. We got Sir Vonson.
Hell yeah.
You
Bullery.
know, the Bullery,
Yeah.
the master, the legend,
Always, man.
tour legend.
Yeah, man, that's really it for from the top of the year, you know, just getting back on tour. I hopped on Gravy's tour right after that Minneapolis show, the Armory show, which did it really well. And I was only going to go on tour for a couple days just to see how it is, make sure everything's going smooth, you know, see how he's doing. He's progressed so much as a performer. He's doing amazing. But then I ended up staying on for like a couple of weeks, and I'm about to hop back on tomorrow.
Yeah. How's the I know, like, you always see, like, artists and see, like, oh, there's these tour dates and tour that. And you see the little vlogs and whatnot, but you're really experiencing what tour life is.
For sure.
What is that like if you were to give somebody who doesn't know what that's like?
I mean, I've been touring for a few years now. Like, we've kind of, but I've seen this kid perform over 200 times in my life. So, it's a blessing, bro, especially at this point in his career. Like, everything's so smooth. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go through the trials and errors of other things, get into, like, just, you know what I mean, doing things like that, not taking the set too serious, things like that. And now everything is literally perfect. Every person that's on the tour is crushing it. They're all above average. The chemistry between every single person on the bus and what everybody's job is, it flows perfectly. So I think, like, it's probably the most fun tour I've been on.
So you think it's the most, like, thought out from every perspective, that
most
this has probably been your
organized.
best tour?
Yeah, bro, for sure. Like, the production's crazy. Got crazy video walls, custom gravy train lights and shit. You know, we got a VJ, video DJ, light DJ.
Oh, so that's how they do the videos on there. There's actually somebody it's their job to
Control
line it up correctly.
Yep.
What do you mean?
So, like, when you play the song, the DJ's just playing the song. Sometimes they have a system where it's together. I don't know how that works exactly. But I've always wondered, like, the person who's cueing the graphics go exactly with the song.
Right.
But, like, if you're on Serato DJing, like, that's not going to play the video.
How are you
usually.
supposed to?
Exactly.
Oh, so you need
Somebody
a
has to
separate
be
person.
on
Yo.
point, just watching, like, to
Because
get it lined up.
sometimes, you know,
okay.
like, Tip sometimes might do certain things in the set, or Tip Gravy, and then the VJ might orchestrate certain things they want to do during the set. So everybody kind of has to be on the same page. That, all right, we're going to cut this here, or we're going to change this up here, you know. But, yeah.
So there's a lot that really goes on when it comes to a
Dude,
tour.
so much that goes into it, man. A lot goes into it.
Where do your responsibilities lie as far as, like, when it comes to his career?
Yeah, like, what does it mean to be, like, a manager?
Man, I handle a lot of marketing. That's like what I specialize in. So I used to tour manage him, all the tours. I don't do that anymore. Andrew Puya does now. Great guy. Tour management, artist management, with touring, and then, like, in real life music stuff, completely different.
How so?
On tour, my skill sets, I feel like my strengths don't apply to touring to where I can be an above average tour manager. Like, obviously I could work to get to that point, you know, but I kind of like the things that I personally do. So I like being at home and going into the field, moving around with the artist, you know, doing promos, doing interviews, doing anything an artist needs to do, talking with the label, handling the marketing, handling the releases, the rollouts, the strategy behind getting the music to work and the brand to work. You know, touring stuff, it's like, you know, you're advancing shows, you're, you know, talking with other TMs, you're talking with the promoters, you're making sure everything's on time, you're making sure you take care of every single person on the bus, you're making sure the merch person's doing their job, the production people are doing their job.
That's
you're
a
making
big
sure
job.
Yeah.
It's a big job. Bro.
Big job. And
So you're handling a lot of moving parts compared to being a manager. It's like, okay, we're dealing with this, that, and a third. We're rolling this out. But tour manager is like, this might mess up, this might mess up. How do we get this all to, like, align?
type shit. And it's just a different thing you focus on, you know, like really orchestrating, all right, like we have this much merch, we need to get this shipment in on this day. This is the most reasonable way to kind of guess it, or, you know, just things like that. And but the other thing is, I noticed that I loved touring at this point in my life. It's not the best thing for me to do. I have other clients, I have other projects, I have other businesses, endeavors that I'm passionate about, you know. So touring, like, I can get more done, and I can be a better benefit to everybody's career. by not being on tour all the time, you know. So.
And you guys, I feel like that's a goofy camp. Like that's a bunch of meat and gravy, meeting someone's friends, and even knowing it's a bunch of goofballs.
Yeah, for sure.
You guys are
bro.
getting stuff done, but it's a bunch of goofy
bro.
people.
And that's the best part. The people, especially in this tournament, everybody's great. You know, it's like I think about everybody we've gotten to tour with over the past few years, and like some of those people aren't there anymore for good reasons. They all progressed and did other things. For example, you know, Baby No Money. Bro, oh my gosh, this is a crazy story, bro. I remember Baby No Money touring with us for years. You know, Gravy and Baby No Money would do EPs together. Baby No Money wasn't that big at the time. I remember he would perform this one song on tour. He performed it for like 2 tours, this unreleased song. And I remember we were just like, bro, like stop performing this. We've heard it for 2 tours now. Like perform something else. He's like, no, I think it's gonna change my life. After the second tour, he dropped it. It has over 1 billion streams. It went triple platinum.
Really?
So like every Apple commercial, yeah, it's called La La La. On Spotify alone, it has over 1 billion streams.
And y'all were just like, was it like you didn't mess with the song, or you like I just heard it too many times, like it's ran down?
Fit 60 times in the matter of 4 months.
That's crazy.
So like, yeah, I was like, oh, bro, come on, let's push something else. But no. It's just, you know, things like that. So whenever people are in the tour no more, it's typically because they're progressing. We had a videographer, Charlie, who was really great. You know, he's now making movies and shit. We had Englewood as a DJ. Englewood's a really successful artist right now in the lo-fi community. And then, but it's cool when you see shit like that happen, you know? And even myself, my career kind of progressed too in other ways.
Because you expanded with doing more marketing for multiple artists now too, right?
For other artists and whatnot, yep. So yeah, man.
That's dope.
Yeah. Everybody's a goofball on there. Great group of guys.
What's one of those funny moments you could say that happened, whether it be first tour, second tour, third tour, that you're like, all right, this is something I've been wanting to tell people for a little bit.
Let me think of a good moment. I think aside from like wild, funny, crazy shit, I think probably my favorite moments is like the wholesome shit. Something that's so little to us makes someone's whole night. You know, there'll be times where I see like a kid in the back of the show, 1,000 people there, and I'm just walking through random. I'm just like, bro, what's up? Why are you in the back? And their mom might be like, hey, my son has anxiety, da-da-da. I'll be like, bro, you want to come on stage with me? You want to come backstage with me and chill with us, bro? You gotta vibe out. You know what I mean? Come hang out with us. And like I've done those things a few different times, just small things like that, bringing people on the tour bus, and seeing, you just never know what people are going through, bro.
Right.
You know, and sometimes you see it through the kids' reaction. Sometimes you see it through the parents. Like, they'll write letters. They'll send gifts. You know, they'll cry right then and there and tell you, like, we just had this happen to us. This is, like, the best thing ever to our family right now. And I think things like that. So I try to, every time I'm at a show, you know, where I'm touring, I try to be super proactive. I try to always look at my DMs. If I see someone's like, yo, we drove 4 hours to come to this show and we missed the meet and greet, I'll be like, what's the next closest show? I'll give you meet and greet and you can hang out with us, you know?
Right.
Things like that. So
you have access to, have you ever had access to like Gravy's like DMs or had to like?
Oh, yeah. I have
so
Instagram account on my phone.
I know. You kind of know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
So it's like some of the wild DMs that you've seen.
Oh my gosh.
Scrolling through Gravy.
All right, bro. Let me see. All right. I'll tell you some funny ones, and then I'll tell you some wild ones. The funny ones is because like it wasn't until like a year or two ago Gravy started messing with like sports more, right? So he never really fucked with like football and basketball and shit like that. And so he be getting DMs from like Swaggy P and Des Bryant and people like that trying to link up, and he doesn't know who they are. You know what I'm saying? It's So things like that, you know, like the Seahawks, they invited us to a practice. Pete Carroll gave Gravy his Nike Air Monarchs from the Super Bowl winning season. That still has a piece of gum at the bottom.
Gave it to him.
He has them in his room right now.
Actually, I got a funny story about Gravy too.
I'll be here, bro.
So I'm training, you know, I personal train. I'm doing this adult class. And, you know, it's probably like 5 or 6 people, but there's like this older white man. He goes hard, former Navy SEAL type. So he usually gets after, we get along, talk. And I think I do playlists. I don't make the playlist, but like I'll pick a song like genre or like whatever. And a Gravy song came on. And I'm like, okay, I'm Gravy, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, I know him, but I'm not like the type of person to be like, yo, bro, you know I know Gravy, right? So, you know how some people are like that. And he comes up to me, he's like, man, you want to know how I heard about Gravy? And like gives me this whole story about how they're on his pontoon. They have to like pick letters, and like his letter was like why, and you have to pick like an artist and pick a song. and it landed on Y, and he searched up artists with Y. Young Gravy. Pick up the first song. He said he's been a fan ever since.
That's fine.
Like, bangs his albums, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, I'll do this one time.
Right.
It's like, I was actually just with him. It was like a week that we were literally, me, you, and him were together.
Right.
Like, yeah, I was just with him yesterday. He's like,
That's
bro,
how.
if he needs anything done, let me know. I'll go on tour with him right now.
Right, bro.
I'm like, man, go back to your wife and kids, man.
That's funny as hell.
Isn't it crazy, like the level to which people are willing to like go for like somebody they're a big fan of,
Bro, I've seen some
Even more than what they would
crazy
even
stuff.
do for like themselves
or their family,
or their family.
Bro, I've seen
like I'll give you everything.
My last
Bro, I've
thing,
seen-
just so you could say
I've been
hi to
holding
me.
on to this since high school.
And sometimes it's not even like they'll give you a reciprocation back. That you could say that, and they might just give you a head nod, and that might be enough for
That-
them. Like
yeah.
literally, like it's
Bro, no,
good.
I've
you know
seen
what I'm
people
saying?
tweak out, bro. I've seen people propose at his meet and greets. I've seen people bring their birth
Not
certificate.
seriously though, not like a
100% proposal. There.
like
Yup.
on the knee ring.
On the knee during the show, they'll talk to him before, like, I'm trying to propose to my girl. Can you stop the show and do it? This happened at the least 10 times.
Whole time I'm thinking you thinking girls are proposing.
No.
to Gravy. Like yo, Gravy got it like that.
No, but some girl did just bring him, bro. We were in Colorado last week. Some girl did just bring a brand new Gucci duffel bag as a gift.
As a gift.
Hey Gravy, let me know. I know you don't need it.
Bro, he has 3 bags in the tour now, 3 Gucci bags. I'm like, how'd you acquire all these?
Yep. Pretty soon he's gonna have 2. Vaughn, when you get back on tour,
Exactly.
you know what to do.
I got you.
I bet. Now it's locked in. You
Right.
heard it here first.
Who's one artist that y'all think like if you could go on tour with them for a week, you would choose?
It'd probably be some sort of pop star.
BTS.
To be honest, bro, I would say
BTS
like
is kind of cool though.
BTS.
I'm trying to think who's dope at performing right now. Like I really fuck with Doja Cat's performances. I won't lie.
Doja Cat.
Doja Cat's performances are dope as hell.
Honestly,
right now,
Doja
bro.
Cat's got a wave right now.
She does.
I don't listen to radio that much, but when I turn on the radio, it's I want to put all night.
Right? No, she's
I'm like,
going
whoa,
nuts.
okay, Doja.
No, bro, she's in her bag for sure. Who else?
Has he done any music with her, or you just wish you could go on tour with her or do something with her?
Doja and Gravy are friends,
Yeah.
and she was dating one of our other good friends for a while. But nah, I just think watching her performances are sick. I'm trying to think who else is crushing it live right now.
Did you see her episode on Dave?
Are you talking to me?
Either of y'all.
Nah, I haven't seen.
I
heard
never
the
watched one episode of Dave.
Nah,
I'm not
first
gonna lie.
season Dave is hard. Second season I hear is weak. I haven't really watched.
It was entertaining. It was a little weird. But
Yeah.
But it was, she's you know, one thing I fuck with about her though in her career is she's so internet savvy, like really like aware of like the meme culture and like funny trendy culture shit, and I feel like it just resonates with her career so well.
Yeah, I feel like she'd probably be in like message boards and like on subreddits and shit.
Right.
Type
Under
shit.
another profile, like
14.
I guarantee you.
What's like a skill? I know like some people feel like sometimes artists, they're good at like the skill set of the artistry that they got. But there's like a deeper, I feel like, skill that artist has, whether it be like how you said Doja can understand her fans that well. Like what's like a skill that you've worked with, that the artists that you've seen from artists that you wouldn't really expect? Like, oh damn, okay, you're
So,
really
Gravy is like my favorite one to think about. I think that's what made me really so savvy with marketing shit in general. It's like how this white dude is now a touring superstar rapping about milfs and shit, you know? And like one thing I watched him do from the beginning was his branding, his brand consistency was just so on point. He was so self-aware to who he was, to who his demographic is, and how he brands to him. And like I think, for example, people who can do little branding things and consistently just keep going are the ones who are going to keep winning too.
But
like,
it's down to like your mannerisms and like
For sure.
your tone of voice, the
For
things you
sure.
post, your story, the way you stand,
that
the way
full
you talk.
artist awareness for sure.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
That's what I'm saying. So you would say a lot of artists get lost because they truly don't know self?
I think a lot of artists get lost because it's really easy to not know what to do or to model after. You know, I think some people, that's what I think the it factor kind of comes in. Some people kind of have it, some people kind of don't. you
Yeah, it's
know?
like the majority of people are emulating what they've seen, and some people are coming up with some shit that just comes from their heart, their soul.
Like original, because it's like I can't really say you could maybe compare Gravy to like an Asher Roth, but he's not an Asher Roth because he's more in depth, more even bigger than Asher Roth in that sense. But it's like you can say there's a comparison, but
For sure.
he's his own person in his own right. You know what I'm saying? So that's definitely, I definitely get that. Well, that kind of leads into one of our segments. We call this, since we're talking about other artists, we call this a speed round.
Speed round.
Shit.
So I'm just gonna say whether it's like a this or that, one phrase, and you just kind of say the first thing that pops to your head. All right.
All right, damn.
All right. So everybody gets so scared
No,
about the
it's
speed
fun.
round. Cam.
It's fun. It's fun.
All right. First thing, Tory Lanez versus The Weeknd. Who are you choosing?
This should
For
be
me
the
personally,
easiest one.
Weekend, bro. Me
Weeknd.
personally.
Okay.
What about you, Cam? You say Weeknd too?
No. Tory Lanez.
All right. Drake or Kanye?
Kanye.
Drake.
Y'all are like polar opposites right now. All right. Barbecue sauce or ketchup?
Barbecue
Ketchup.
sauce, bro.
Barbecue sauce for sure. man.
Barbecue
Every
sauce
time.
on certain shit though. Chicken.
True, you're right.
Chicken.
Thoughts on long distance relationships?
No.
It could work.
You guys are literally opposites.
I'm good. I'm good off it.
Like you tried it and it didn't work.
It's just tough.
Cam, you said it could work, so you've
could
done it
work
before?
if you have enough budget. Like if you have enough money to facilitate the travel.
Okay.
So like either one of y'all meeting up with each other. Like it can't be just long distance all the
Maybe
time.
really gone type shit.
Yeah.
Y'all could be stationed in two different entities of the world, I believe, if you have like the funding or if you have like the means to get to the other person on a regular basis still.
Yeah. I don't think I've had a long distance relationship, honestly.
I haven't, but I believe it could work.
First thing you think of when I say cheese?
I think of Logan Bunbury, bro. I think of Loki. bro.
Logan.
Shout
And
out
another
Loki.
life, brother.
And another life, brother. Shout out to Logan, man. Shout out to On Your Own. The last one I have, this is going to be funny. And Cam, I need you to answer too. How do you slide in the DMs?
Snowflake or
Wait, what did you just say?
Snowflake.
Like Quavo.
Snowflake. Oh,
He's
you like
talking about
that.
like Quavo, yeah. I think it's unique to each individual person. You know what I'm saying? You gotta think like what they
True
look like.
player. Listen to Cam, hey, man.
That's true.
Cause the same shit ain't gonna work on every girl. You know what I mean?
So are you like jump in the DM, try to admire them, or jump in the DM and make them laugh?
Personally, I would try to do both, but I'm not gonna cap. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I personally
every
don't
time.
like sliding in DMs. I don't like it.
So how do you find girls or not find girls?
I'm
that's
gonna
weird.
catch you out. I'm gonna
How
catch
do
you
you talk
outside.
to girls?
I'ma
Catch
you
her outside?
Because bro, like if I've slided, this is what I think. Like my media and shit, I just think I look so different in person. Like on my social media, people be thinking I'm like short and shit, and I'm not photogenic at
But Drake
all.
say taller in
I'm
person,
really
you see when
not
we meet.
photogenic, bro. So it's like I'd rather be in. I've heard way too many times where, oh, I thought you were short and fat. And like I'm like, oh god, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to block my blessings because I look like a fool on the internet.
If a girl say that to me, I'm gonna be offended.
Yeah, but
I
you don't
thought you
look
were
like
short.
that on there. I do.
Yo,
For that, we need like a little sound nigga.
should we get a soundboard?
We damn near need a soundboard, bro. We definitely need one.
Cause it's like it could work.
But it can't just be OD.
Nah, yeah, it can't. I think it could bring some like more liveliness to it.
Because when stuff like that definitely needed a soundboard.
for
All right, another segment we got. We call this business tip of the week. So you're an entrepreneur. You've been in the world. You've been around bunch of different artists, bunch of different cities. What's a business tip you maybe would give to like your younger self, or maybe just somebody who's maybe an aspiring manager or aspiring whatever? And then me or Cam will give our business tips of the week as well.
I got a couple actually.
Okay, go ahead.
I think my first one
Spit your
would be
gems.
would be stop bitching. Like I spent, bro. I've had so many times in my life, even after reaching certain success, where I'll start bitching about something, and like that's the process. And like learn to fall in love with those losses and those, you know what I mean, if people cross you, whatever. Learn to kind of like almost be flattered by it, because that's the process. That's the only way you'll learn this shit. You have to take L's. You have to fumble the bag. You have to fuck up with clients. You have to lose relationships to learn how to maintain them and to not lose them. You know.
Right.
So, literally, like, don't waste time crying because no one cares, and just keep pushing. That thing, you know, that's really player. That's probably the first thing, and I think another thing is figure out what's realistic for you. You know, a lot of people take after. Like, I'm personally not a big preacher of crazy rise and grind mentality. And it's not because I don't believe in it. It just never was me, you know? Like, I am a rise and grinder, right? But on my terms, kind of, in the most realistic way for myself. I also got ADHD crazy, too, so my mind is all over the place with how I do shit. But, you know, figure out what works for you and what's comfortable for you. Don't try to be like someone else necessarily, you know? And if you want to be like someone else, do that. But just try to figure out what is the best route for you with how you do your work and how you keep pushing yourself forward.
Okay, so essentially, no one's coming to save you. You're always going to
Ain't
deal with.
nobody gonna save you.
You're going to deal with those mess ups regardless. You taking that risk alone, you're going to deal with mess ups, deal with it, and push forward. And then
Facts.
secondly, you said second one.
Second one was figure out like your own route.
Oh
and
yeah, figure out your niche that's comfortable for you.
I got one last one too. Actually,
Okay.
this is probably really important. This goes for artists, creatives, entrepreneurs of any sort. I think I don't want to say try not to do this. I just want to say think universal, think global. You know, a lot of people think local, which is great, but think universal, think global. Think about if you have something, how do I get more eyes on it? How do I expose this beyond the demographic I've been exposing it to?
That's a good one
Yes,
because
she is.
a lot of people don't understand that maybe your first few years, the majority of your income and revenue in general is going to come from something locally, just because of where you're stationed and where you're probably marketing and focusing your energy. But if you're looking at bigger businesses that are having long-term success, it's very rare unless you have a brick and mortar like a restaurant.
But even we've seen with COVID, that brick and mortar might go to.
Yeah, no, it can go to shit, but I'm just saying, I think if you look at successful businesses over the 5 to 10 years of their success, later on down the line, the majority of their income is not going to come from anywhere local.
Yeah, they're touching other sections. They're
Yeah,
touching
especially if we're talking about entertainment, if we're talking about manufacturing some type of goods,
clothing, even
or
with
products.
clothing. The most expensive manufacturers in the U.S. You got to go out of the country to get some good manufacturing. So yeah, that's right. That's for sure.
I think we
Think
forget
big.
that there's hundreds of millions of people that live outside of the United States. The United States isn't even one of the biggest countries.
Yeah.
Literally.
We have a large portion of the world's wealth, but when you look in terms of like population,
And skill sets, like we're not the only things who do the certain things that are happening in here. What about you, Cam? What's your tip of the week if you got one?
my tip of the week is to handle like your personal life. Take that time if you need it. Handle your personal life before you try to start doing business. Because if you start dragging emotions and stress and anxiety into the workplace, I don't think you're gonna have the best outcome.
Yeah.
And your mind's not gonna be 100% present, and you're not gonna be giving, you're not gonna be giving your best effort.
Right.
So instead of trying to drag on and just say, I got this, and you're just suffering
Yeah,
in
you're
your
not
mind.
really handling it for
You're
real.
not really doing it. Just take that time that you need to get yourself together. Get your whatever that means for you. Everybody else has their own things that are weighing on them. I can only speak for myself, but I know if there's like hella laundry in my crib, or like I got problems with a relationship or friendship going on in my life, that week may not be the best week to try to set up new deals and go have meetings and shit. Sometimes as an entrepreneur, you just got to tell somebody, hey, this week I got to take some time off. I'll be back with you next week early Monday morning. But it's okay to take time for yourself, because I think as entrepreneurs, we oftentimes get locked into this idea of working 24/7, and that's not healthy, and it's not gonna be conducive to being your best self in business. So
That's for sure.
Facts.
Definitely.
I think people are overcommitting themselves, bro, like to their personal life and their work life, and they're ending up burning bridges. We've noticed,
Right.
even this week alone, as we talk to certain people that are they're overcommitted to too much going on
much.
at one time, and so you're not even giving your full self to one thing.
Because you're spread out in 18 different areas.
Yeah. So when you're there, you're not even really present, because
You're not
you're
there,
thinking
right?
about the next thing you got to do. So it's tough because, man, these days you got to go overtime just to try to get the bare minimum.
The bare minimum, right?
But if you can, take some time for yourself. That's what I would.
Yeah, piggyback off you. This is not mine, but just to piggyback off of you, yeah, you have to get comfortable with being by yourself. Like, not necessarily like, oh, I don't have anybody that loves me. No, I'm just saying, like, when you're alone with yourself and your thoughts, are you comfortable with being with yourself? Some people aren't, because if they're alone in their room and it's thoughts it's like they're about to either bounce off the wall or they got to hit somebody up or they got to do. You have to find. I would say for me as an entrepreneur, I had to find this time where it's like, yo, am I comfortable with me? Like, am I good with how I'm thinking about certain things? Like, is that who I am? And if that is, okay, how do I go about it? You know what I'm saying? How do I move forward? So that was just something I kind of thought of to piggyback off of you. But I would say my business tip for the week, it was something I think I learned ingrained by Nipsey Hussle. He said he learned everything in his business A to Z, not necessarily because he felt like he had to do everything on his own, but so he knew when, if I were to delegate this task and this person comes in, I know when I'm not getting played. So I'll say, like, for me, when you're starting off, you're not going to have all the skill sets that are done for doing something, but learn those part by part, you know what I'm saying? And as you learn all those skill sets, don't feel like you have to do them all yourself. You have to delegate to other people, meaning like somebody you have to bring on to do something that you know how to do, but you're going to give them, whether it be the time, the money constraints to do that job where they're not feeling like they're getting played, but from your perspective too, they can't come to you and ask for something outrageous because at the end of the day, I don't need you to do this job.
Facts.
But I know how to do it. So when I hire you,
Yeah.
I'm not getting played because I know what it takes for
I know how
you.
long
I know
it
what
takes.
it takes for you to do it. And I know it takes for me to do it. And I know that you need that money for whatever time you put into this effort. But at the same time, you ain't going to play me, bro, because I could do it myself. I just don't have the time right now to
Facts.
do it. You know what I'm saying? So I would say just learn every aspect of whatever industry that you're getting into and just learn what you're good at and learn what you're not and then delegate from there. Way easier said than done. Way easier said than done. Let me not just say like, yeah, just delegate, blah, 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 because people will fail. People will come through. You think that they can do this, then they show up to your front door. They can't do a lick. You're damn near still teaching them. Or there's somebody who's just...
And for you to just even learn the shit on your own, even to get an overview of what every aspect of what you're trying to do, that's going to take you 5-10 years immediately.
It's a slow process. It's a slow process. Depending on the industry. Like with clothes, there's a lot of things that I didn't know. But I was willing to start. I was willing to take the risk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the first step. From there, you're going to fail forward. Like you said, you got to fail to learn, hey, manufacturing in Minnesota is not what I think it is. But if I go to LA, it's a little bit better. If I start, you know what I'm saying? You start learning some of those things and tripping up. But for entrepreneurs, it's just something I learned in football and sports. Just don't keep making the same mistake.
Facts.
Because that's when you start digging that hole for yourself mentally and financially. You know what I'm saying? Because like you're going to get to the point you keep making, man, I'm no good, I'm no that. But it's like, no, just take a step back. Maybe you need to ask for some help. Maybe you do.
Literally.
But that takes some pride and some self-awareness. But that's my business tip of the week. Just learn as much as you can about your industry. So when you have to hire somebody else, you know you're not getting played, but you can also give that person what they ask for in terms of value. And that was it.
Facts.
I had a quick question for Vaughn. I'm curious to know, is there anybody entrepreneur-wise that you look up to? Not necessarily emulate, but somebody that you looked and they blazed a path of their own. You're like, wow.
There's a couple people. So whoever watches this, please look these people up. There's a guy named Luca Netz. Stupid millionaire. It's like my age.
Luca Netz.
Luca Netz.
Okay. Luca Netz, we need you on the podcast, by the way. Let you know right now.
I followed this dude for some years now. He started. He created Cookies and Kicks.
Oh wow.
But before that he was doing e-commerce dropshipping shit with like Supreme Patty. Like he really pioneered.
Are you still into
influencer marketing?
dropshipping or no?
Yeah, you still doing dropshipping?
No, I stopped that like a year and a half, 2 years ago.
It's just not profitable? Or?
It's cool. It's just not worth my time for the overhead that
Yeah.
I thought there wasn't a lot of overhead in dropshipping though.
I think there's just.
Pardon me, I don't know too
Yeah,
much.
no,
about dropshipping.
like you can hire people out, but just even maintaining all that, like having VAs and stuff who are handling fulfillment, customer service.
So it turns into management essentially.
Yes, literally, and it's just not I just don't. But there are things from it that I'll touch on in a sec that I'm really happy about it. But Luca Netz, he's like a jack of all trades. Following him made me really diversify what I did, because I did e-commerce for a while, and then I started making money out of music, right? Getting advances, getting other income from ancillaries and shit. And then, sometimes you blow the bag, sometimes you don't. But one thing I learned about music was I remember my first bag I got.
Blew it.
Blew it.
fucking dumb shit.
And then I remember just like.
What did you buy? Hold on, let's
then,
go back. You blew the bag. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'll explain it all.
What did you buy?
Bought a brand new Audi out the lot.
No,
Brand new Audi out the lot? That's what the
no,
Audi was?
see,
Oh.
I bought the Audi when I got the other bag and I secured it correctly. So no.
Okay.
So the first bag was not as big as the bag when I got the Audi. But the first bag I got, I was young, bro. I was like 22. I'm 25. I was like 21 or 22. Blew it on just trying to keep up with all the rich ass people I was around, just flying all the places, getting the nicest hotels, going to the nicest dinners every day. One trip that I'm gone for in 5 days would turn into $5K every time.
Clothes.
You know what I'm saying? Stupid shit. Literally nothing to show for it, right? And then from that, I learned
experience for sure.
Yeah, and like I learned, and you know that's a pretty tough moment when you feel like you've made it, right? When you feel like you've acquired income that can change shit for you and your mom, you know, your friends, things like that. It sucks losing that, bro. That's a terrible fucking moment. That's a dark moment, which I'm so thankful I've gone through, because it did a few things. It kind of desensitized me with losing. If I lost all my money, I like would care, but I wouldn't at the same time because I'm so confident I'd get it back. But one thing I learned from Luca and throughout that process was like, I should be doing more things. That's when I got into e-commerce, right? And I did e-commerce. I started making money off that. And I also then, you know, started outsourcing my digital marketing skills to record labels and stuff. So I started making tons of money from that. And so, yeah, and I just started doing other things. And now I invest, you know. Now I'm into NFTs, as you know. And, like, I like it because, especially with music, Cam, you might be able to attest to this, you're not getting paid all the time. If you manage an artist or you are an artist, until you are stupid profitable touring like gravy, you're getting paid all the time.
You're a true entrepreneur.
You know what I'm saying?
Entrepreneur sense. Yeah.
But there's times where you might sign a big deal, you might sign a big record deal, a big pub deal or something like that, but you're not going to get paid again because you're not big enough to get shows. You're not big enough, you know, to get an endorsement. This is kind of like the groundwork time, so you better hold that bag and really be careful with it for the next year and a half while you hopefully you blow up. And you don't even always go. You don't always blow. So
it's tough though in music because especially in hip hop, you're expected to, and I think this is a common theme amongst influencers in general, not just hip hop, but you're expected to like show the money that you're making.
Yeah.
Because we want to see what
part
our
of the
support.
industry.
We want to see what our support is getting us. You know what I mean? Show us the biggest chains. Show us the nicest cars. Like for me, supporting you, streaming your album, buying your shit, following you on social media, all these likes I'm giving you. Like, show me something. That's how I feel.
Right.
And I think a lot of people get caught up in that because they start thinking, like, I got to outdo myself from last week.
Yeah, because even like at an industry like real estate, I could own 50 units. And you would never know. Like, I could have 50 units right now, maybe a basic car, and maybe like a chain. You'd be like, man, this man broke. Then you see some of the stuff you're actually doing. You're like, wow, he's got it. Because I don't have to show it because of the industry I'm in. But I'm in the entertainment industry. If I'm not showing something, I'm broke.
You're not entertaining anymore.
I'm not entertaining. I'm broke. If I come out on stage with a black tee and jeans and some Vans every day, he ain't. Nah, he gonna wear some Jordan ones. He gonna wear some ones.
But I also look up to Gravy. Gravy really brought me into this. I wouldn't be here without him. And then lastly, I look up to my mom because I have skill sets that make me who I am, that make me good at things I do, that I learned from my mom. I remember growing up, my mom would always have like great relationships with people. People would go to crazy extents for her. If she needed anything, or her family needed anything, they would always come through. She would never not be able to figure shit out. And I realized it's because of the way she treated those relationships. And she's very open-minded, too. You know what I'm saying? Not even just that, just certain things she forced me to do as a kid. She really made me grow the fuck up, bro. Like, I took my first flight alone when I was 10 years old. Yeah. Alone. That shit was scary as hell. Walking through it, that shit was fucked up.
I damn near was scared at 18 my first flight.
Yeah, I'm saying, right? I was like, Mom, I don't. And she's like, bro, go. Like, you're going to go to your aunt's. You're flying alone.
And that's crazy to say because think about it today's age. Could you imagine kids or an adult sending out a kid like 8 to 10, like, yeah, go, dude. I'm going to get you a taxi, go to the airport. They're going to drop you off, go fine. You're going to fly. I mean,
yeah, I did it at a pretty young age, too. I was scared as fuck. I was like, I don't know. What if I don't know how to do the ticket machine?
I couldn't even find my seat on the plane.
Security.
Or even like staying home and alone. Like when you're a certain age, if you was passing my crib, like if you were past 4 or 5, you can make a little PB&J. Are you
Yeah,
good to stay at the crib by yourself?
Right.
You
Yeah,
can eat.
No,
You
for
can eat.
real.
We're gonna go. Don't break nothing and stay in the crib.
Exactly.
Don't open the
in
door.
Don't open the door
crib.
for nobody. Stay in the crib. The food is there. Now it's like you might get child protective services on you.
Yeah,
They
for
find a
real.
5-year-old in the crib by themselves.
For sure.
So yeah, I definitely see that. That's crazy though. Yeah, Mom Dukes, she's a legend.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to Mom Dukes. All the moms out there. Shout out to y'all for real.
Well, Devon, I want to appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys.
We got a lot of actually guests and ideas for this show, and it's just good to get early support because obviously we don't have a whole lot to show for what we've been building so far, but I think you see the vision and I think you understand just us being friends that we're trying to take this pretty far.
No, I think
Taking
this
it
is gonna go
seriously.
far. I'm happy for you guys and I'm proud of you guys. I think one thing that made me really love the whole idea for this is we were talking once, Kim, and you were like, I'm not really trying to have this be just about music.
Yeah.
Like what people would just expect.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was cool because you guys want to help people with business and entrepreneur things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many things people can learn in those aspects that people just don't think about. And just hearing one person talk about one important thing that has helped them in their whole career is, people can take that away.
Yeah, and I think that's right up the alley what we're trying to go for, and I think it also describes perfectly how we want to portray the information is like, here's our experience, this is my opinion, but this is not us telling you how you need to live your life, this is not us telling you how to build a successful business, this is just us explaining to you the process that we've taken, some of the pitfalls that we've encountered, some of the obstacles, how we got past it, so maybe you don't have to go through some of the tough things that we have. Obviously, you're still going to have to encounter these things on your own to build your own character and your experiences. But we're not trying to preach to anybody. We're just offering the information, and hopefully, it's not taken on deaf ears.
Right. And with different people we bring on, it's not like every week we're gonna have a guest, but it's like with different guests we can tap into different industries and different crowds and different people and different voices that maybe don't feel comfortable having that conversation in public, but they're comfortable having that conversation with us. And then the audience gets that chance to say, okay, I actually like that industry and maybe I'm going to try it or do this or even if they don't want to try something, say, hey, I learned something to better myself. So that's really the perspective of that. And then honestly, just to show it ourselves, like, hey, we live real life, we're real people, and we make and build relationships and grow with us as we grow this podcast. So
For sure.
appreciate you again.
Appreciate
Much
you guys.
love, Inside Boys. You know where to follow us. Tell them where to follow you.
Von Bullery.
Von Bullery on Instagram. Anything else you want them to follow you on?
I just be using Instagram.
Instagram, Von Bullery. Sliding those DMs, baby.
Yeah.
All right, Inside Boys. You know where to find us. YouTube, Inside Boys. Twitter, Inside Boys. Patreon later, Inside Boys. All right, we're out of here.
Peace.
Peace.